Welcome to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. You can follow us at Facebook under Freeform Network, on X at FFR Podcast. Remember to send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. It's Freeform Radio. We're back on the air. We got Danny.
Yes, sir, man. In here, preparing for the heat wave. I got a fan on, Andy. It's a little warm, but hopefully everybody can hear me fine, because that's the important part, that everybody can hear me.
Yeah, it's interesting that you got the fan. So it's all good, Andy. We're missing Noel this week. We think he's under the weather. But we'll see. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. So we're gonna just dive right into it. Um, Danny, it looks like you had a busy weekend. So I see you went to your local festival. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the time of year, Andy, where Taste of Chicago's and so forth, all the villages, neighboring cities, they're all having their fests. And yeah, our city had our fest here this weekend. It's currently going on as we speak as well. Typically Thursday to Sunday, so today would be the last day. But yeah, we stopped by yesterday. It was as normal we've gone these last few years, and it was packed. It was tons of people. Um, Inflation's hit the gate payments. Inflation's hit the beer tickets. Inflation's hit the food. It's like really crazy. Everything was really, really expensive, but it was good. It was good to do something different. Me and the wife don't typically do too much. We like to save money best we can, so we don't go out and eat a lot, and we don't go out and do the theater, movies, go out and do activities, mountain climbing, and all that. We don't spend money on that stuff. So it's nice to go do something different. In particular, with this, there's a lot of neighbors and people that we recognize and we say hi to, and it's just good to support local businesses as well. So I appreciate that. But yeah, the weather was beautiful. It was great. Went had a couple of drinks and hung out and listened to some music. I presume your city has a fest. Is that this weekend or is coming up?
I think it's coming up this week. Um, I was talking to my wife about it. How you guys were going to the fest about where you guys live, and she's really into the fireworks. We wanted our kid to enjoy it. I know you sent us the invite, but we did Google your fireworks is this Friday, and I think she says ours, I think we're last night, but we didn't end up going. We're just kind of we got a busy summer schedule coming up, so we're just enjoying here at the house, just chilling. And grilling. But yeah, it was we were thinking about going, we were talking about it, and then Andy, like I don't know, he gets our kid, he gets a little nuts when there's a lot of people, and then the music, and then there's no payoff at the end with the fireworks, so that's why we couldn't really make it. But we like it. I've been to the one here, or not, where I moved here a couple years ago. They have something, and then the one from a previous neighborhood, because we moved like the next town over, they have theirs this week, and I've been to that one a couple times. It was okay. Um, but where we grew up, they had the big one, and we'd probably go hit that up every summer. But since you've been moved up there, have you gone every year, or is it just the last after the pandemic, you guys been going more?
Yeah, I would say just about every year we go, depending on the weather. If the weather's shitty, I don't support it that much. So if it's raining or if it's really cold, I guess even the cold, because I mean, cold springs are not that bad, but it's mostly the rain. So if it rains, I'm not going. So I think one year we didn't go, maybe 2 years we didn't go. Um, but yeah, it's almost always a good time. They have live music. They got a stage. And they play a wide variety. I've gone where they've played country. I've gone where they played like 80s like music. Last night in particular was a blues band. So they had blues, R&B. So they played like Aretha Franklin. I played a lot of Blues Brothers because the city that I live in is kind of famous for the Blues Brothers movie. So they
Yeah.
had the Blues Brother car and then the two characters playing the Blues Brothers. So they played a lot of their songs, you know. And then after that, they had a 90s alternative rock band, cover band, and they came in and they played, you know, like the Pearl Jam, Nirvana. They played some other like just like poppy tunes like Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice, Belle Biv DeVoe Poison, and a few other songs where you're like, okay, you got like that 90s vibe to it for sure. So that was kind of cool too. We were gonna leave shortly before that. We're like, oh, okay, as soon as the Blues Brothers is done, I'm not sure if I'm that much interested in 90s rock. But we hung out for just a little bit longer, and then the music was actually pretty good. So we stayed for a couple songs, and then finally we headed out. But yeah, we met up with a couple friends, a friend from high school. He was there with his wife and kids and his father-in-law. So we were just hanging out, enjoying a couple drinks, enjoying the music, the food. Like usual, there's a bunch of different varieties of food, and I guess that's what kind of calls me as well. Sometimes you get tired of the same mundane food, the same, you know, corporate restaurants, you know, the Olive Gardens, the
The
Outbacks, you know,
chains.
yeah, Chili's, and although they're all good and they all have their purpose, but sometimes it's good to go to like a mom and pop restaurant where you get like a different flavor palette, a reinvention of something normal. Um, they love busting out a bunch of barbecue, pulled pork. Um, what's that meat cut that you like?
Brisket.
Brisket. They had a bunch of brisket stuff. So yeah, it was really good to try different foods. A bunch of mac and cheese with this topping and nachos with this. And this is the first year I saw Chinese food. They even had Chinese food now. Egg rolls and crab rangoons and pot stickers and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, um,
Did you
definitely.
try the Chinese food? I know you like Chinese food.
Yeah, actually, while we were walking up and down, which is the other challenge, you see something, you're like, man, I want this, but then like, I gotta walk the whole aisle because maybe there's a better contender. Because I'm not just gonna spend 20 bucks on this one thing, and then end up finding out there was something better over here for 20 bucks. So we walk down the aisle, I see the Chinese, and I'm like, oh man, I've had a taste for some Chinese, but I'm like, I know there's got to be something better here, a better contender. So I walked down, ended up settling on some nacho supremes. It was like steak with cheese, chips, pico de gallo, uh, a bunch of cheese, and it was really not really good, but it was good enough where I'm like, okay, I could see why this was 15 bucks. My wife ended up getting some kind of sandwich. I forgot what cut meat, beef something or other, um,
Pot
with
roast
maybe I don't
or pulled pork or
I don't think it was pork. It was some beef something, but it was some kind of beef meat, and then it had like roasted peppers, roasted onions, and then it had that guna cheese.
oh,
Like
like a Philly cheesesteak?
it was kind of like that. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess maybe that would be maybe the kind of same
A
beef as
cheesesteak
Philly
type
cheese.
of thing? Yeah.
Yeah, and it just had it melted on top. I mean, you couldn't even see the bread and the food. It was like the whole thing was kind of like a sucio burrito where you're like you can't even see the
They
burrito
drenched
because
it, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, she liked that. And then the usual stuff. We had a funnel cake, and there was another spot that had strawberry cheesecake. So she ended up trying that. But yeah, altogether, very good time. Enjoyed ourselves. The weather was good. Got a little chilly last night. Went
Hmm.
in t-shirt and shorts, and at the end, man, that breeze was kind of kicking up pretty nice, and it was a little chill in the air that I wished I had a hoodie, but no, good time. Uh, Not gonna go back today. There's actually another fest that we're thinking about maybe going to, but we'll see, man. It's kind of wearing us out. To your point, Andy, you have to relish those non-busy weekends because the summer could definitely pile up birthdays, graduations, just get-togethers,
Yeah,
celebrating a bunch of stuff, and
that
before you know it, every weekend and your summer's packed.
that's what we had going. Like, me and the wife were like, oh yeah, this weekend and next weekend, the Fourth of July weekend, as of this recording,
Right?
we don't really got much going on. Like, so yesterday, I was just like, I'm like, I want brats for lunch today and early dinner, and I took some on. I made those, but like we just chilled at the house. I did a couple things I wanted to do around here. And yeah, I mean, it was nice. And then today we're like, we kind of like want to do something, but we don't. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're pretty happy because next weekend, we might do something, but I think we're just gonna be at the house or invite some people like family or something over.
Right. Yeah. No, like you mentioned, 4th of July. So that'll probably be another event that we go out. Our village has pretty nice fireworks over the Bangs Lake that they have here in the area. And it's usually a pretty nice firework extravaganza. I was kind of surprised to hear our friend from high school. He doesn't really even see it here. He says he drives out to another city that also has a huge lake and there they try to get as close as they can to the lake. And that he said this might be the year that he rents a boat and actually goes out into the lake and sees the fireworks like over him. uh you know so yeah, usually fireworks, Americans love, for those international listeners, Americans love their fireworks during the 4th of July. I'm sure I'm gonna have to give my dog some weed gummies or something to chill her out so she doesn't get freaked out by all the fireworks. But no, great time to spend outdoors, especially if the weather's nice. So we'll have to see how it turns out.
Yeah, those festivals are great. Like getting back to, I think a majority is the I don't want to say free, you had to pay to get in, but those concerts and the food is the big plus. Usually they have a bunch of little contests in between.
Yeah,
Do they
yeah.
usually have the carnival come in too, or no?
Yeah, this one they had the carnival rides, but me and my wife are too old for that, so we didn't go on any carnivals. But you saw all the teenagers and
Yeah.
the young adults out there, and then the entry fee was $5, and you pay $5 and you get entry to all 4 days. So if we would have gone on Thursday, we could have paid the $5, and then you just take the pin back all 4 days, and you got entry all 4 days. So not too bad. Just a little over $1 a day if you go all 4 days. So pretty good to go spend out there and enjoy some time with the community if you like that sort of stuff. But yeah, uh, I felt my age yesterday, Andy, because the day before you were there with us, we went to a friend of ours, the wife's birthday party, and I don't know what time you headed out, but by the time we headed out and then stopped by and got a bite to eat and then got home, it was late and I felt it all yesterday, man. I must have taken like 3 power naps to try to recoup and get back on my feet, but it was pretty bad. Not so much a hangover because I didn't drink that much. I maybe had like 4 drinks throughout the whole night, but it was just the lack of sleep. I'm usually at 9 o'clock and I'm like, boom, I'm done. I'm like in bed, ready to knock out. So staying up to midnight, 1 o'clock, it was kind of rough. But it was a good time. It was a good time at the party. How was the recovery for you?
No, we were like you. We had a great time. We went. My wife, I didn't drink. I'm on this diet regimen right now, but yeah, she had a good time. I had a good time. We had to go pick up our kid who was living. It was staying with my mom. So the drive there wasn't too bad. We left maybe 11:10ish. a little bit after 11.
Staying at your mom while the party was on.
Yeah,
It's not like your
and
kid lives
then
with your mom yet.
yeah, no, yeah. So we went there. It was rather quick. I was telling my wife when we passed by my old house, I'm like, see, we would have been home already.
Right.
Because it wasn't that far of a drive from where I used to live. But then we went and picked him up, and then he was still awake. My mom was like, he did not want to go to sleep.
Really? Holy moly.
It was like 11:30-ish, somewhere around there. And
Okay.
then we got him in there. He was ready to go home, but he did not fall asleep on the drive home. And then we got home.
Wow. That
Yeah,
neither? That's
yeah,
usually
he
like
was he was
a
wired up. I don't know what was going on.
bunch of candy,
We
maybe.
got home. We got into her, get ready. My wife's like, I'm going to bed, and my kid was like, nope, I'm not doing that. So I stayed up a little bit with him. I had a snack, and then I think at like 1:15, 1:20, I'm like, it's time to go to bed. We went upstairs, and he was tossing. I didn't go to bed till like 2 o'clock.
Wow. Holy moly, man. He must have been on like Slurpees and
Nah,
candies
my
and
mom said that
cookies.
he didn't have a lot of sugar or nothing. I think he was just wired. I think he was afraid he was gonna spend the night there, which he's never done. So he was a little bit in a panic mode.
Okay.
But yeah, and then we got home the next day. Then I'm not gonna lie, I woke up 6, got ready, did my morning routine, drank some water, and then I went for my workout. Did my workout, came back. I was kind of hungry, and then I was coaching last night. Yeah, we went to bed kind of early. We were in bed by like 9-ish. On the first Saturday, it's a little early for us, but yeah, we were bed by 9:30.
Wow, it doesn't sound like it hit you that bad. I mean, to me, I'm telling you, not that I felt bad, but I just felt tired. I was just like,
My
and
wife was a little bit more, she was a little bit more tired.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
she
to
was,
me,
I think it affected her, and then she didn't really like sleep well, which is her MO, but generally, yeah, when like I always tell everybody, I tell my wife she hates it when I'm like, I'm going to bed, like I'm going to bed. I put my head down and I'm knocking out in under 5 minutes. I
mhm,
don't go
mhm.
and lay in bed and like do all and like I'm like when I'm saying I'm going to sleep, I'm going to sleep. I charge my phone and I lay down. I'm down in under 5 minutes.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm kind of similar. We do chill out in bed and watch TV, and then, but when we turn off the TV, it's like, luckily, knock on wood, I've always been really lucky in that sense that I'll fall asleep in like 5 minutes. But yeah, man, the worst part for me that it felt, and this is when like I'm telling you, I felt my age, because I would take a nap, which I knew I was gonna have to take, because I woke up around the same time. I think it was like 5, 6 o'clock. I woke up, and so I'm up and I'm watching a little TV, got some water, and I'm just chilling there watching TV. And I felt a nap coming along. And so I'm like, all right, I'll just take a nap. And that nap turned into another nap because I would wake up for like 5 minutes, get a couple more drinks of water, and then I would just fall back to sleep again. And then an hour later, boom, I would get up. I'd be like, okay, that was a good nap. That should be it. And then I'll take a couple sips of water and I'll knock out again. And I'm like, holy shit, man,
That
what is this going to go on all day?
You sound like my kid. My kid, he woke up then so he went to bed at 2. He was up by before 8 o'clock. And then he did his usual nonsense. He played, and then he went down like around 2. And he didn't wake up to almost between 5:30 and 6. And he would get up in between and just look around and then just put his head back down and go to sleep. And then he woke up, he
Like on the
stayed up a little
couch?
bit, yeah, on
He
the
would be on the
couch.
couch. Okay.
And then like he would wake up after his nap like around 8 o'clock. He's like, I'm tired, I'm ready to go to bed. Like, really? He goes, yeah, yeah, I'm tired, I'm tired. And then yeah, he went to bed. There was no fuss like how normally is sometimes. And he went
Mhm.
straight to bed. So I think him and my wife took that party in harder than I did.
Yeah. No, and I don't think it was the drinking. I know you mentioned you didn't really drink because you're on this diet, this food diet. So I mean I had 4 drinks, which I think for my body weight 4 isn't really that much. and I didn't feel, drunk or anything. Maybe it was the food because, like I mentioned, we went to get a bite to eat afterwards. We stopped by our usual spot, TBK, man. Had to stop by and get a taco on the way home. And even picked up a couple quesadillas for Junior because Alana was texting him. Because when we drove in, we came in by the TBK side, and she sent him a picture like, "Oh, look where we're going." And
He likes it?
oh yeah, Junior loves the quesadillas and the steak tacos there. So she was kind of trying to throw some shade and see if he'd get upset, but he just messaged back. He's like, "Yeah, pick me up a quesadilla." So
You're
I
like
think
his homie.
I think he was looking forward to it because I thought he was gonna be asleep when we got home, but no, he was waiting for that quesadilla and ate it up. So yeah, I don't know if it was that. I doubt it. I think it was just
It
I'm just
might
not
have
used to
been.
staying up. Yeah,
Oh yeah, you're the. I mean, you didn't get like you were drinking and then you went to eat like really late. I think
right.
if you eat really late, like yeah, it sometimes it
Digestion and all
messes
that.
with you. Yeah.
Right.
Did you ever tell Junior the story of the where TBK has cheese fries with a burrito meal?
No,
It was
no.
supposedly we went there one time. Your brother would order it a lot, and we're all like we had a good time, and they added it to the menu. And we said I created that meal. He used to say that all the time to me. So I don't know when's the last time he's been out there, but
I
he claims he created that meal for that restaurant.
I mean, it definitely is delicious, but I think that's just a folk's tale, kind of like the gravy fries that
Yeah,
our other friend likes to take
that
credit
Dave
for.
created. Yeah, yeah, he created, or yeah.
I think that is a folks tale that's made up. Just a couple more quick things I wanted to bring up, Andy. You're a man that's got some facial hair. I got a mustache. I blew my nose the other day, just clearing out nasal passages. I wasn't sick or anything. And I'm sitting by my cubicle and I'm just working. And then all of a sudden, I just went to, brush my face and kind of brush, my mustache a little bit. Not because of I had to blow my nose again. I was just kind of brushing my face. And when I did that, I felt a little particle on my hand. And I'm like, oh shit, man, this is like, I've had facial hair before, but it started suddenly realizing like, damn, do I got to get a different routine for blowing my nose now that I have a thicker mustache? And I don't know if you run across it. I'm like, am I gonna start having to be like those girls that they're fixing their makeup and they switch their camera phone so they can see themselves while they're doing their makeup and shit? Am I
Yeah,
gonna have to start after I blow my nose, put my camera on and be like, all right, did I leave any snot on my
you gotta
mustache or
check,
not?
man, especially when you let the beards and the mustaches, yeah, you gotta check for crumbs, and then when you wipe your nose, you gotta look for residue because yeah, it's a problem, especially today. Well, not today, but the last decade, everybody has these huge beards and
Right.
mustaches. So yeah, it's part of
The cleanliness routine now.
yeah, I forgot. I'm trying to figure out the educated word here. Hygiene.
Right.
You gotta maintain that facial hair hygiene and maintenance because yeah, it you gotta wash. You gotta check because it sticks on there and the smell can linger. You can smell it or whatever, like with
Right.
food and all that crap. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's like I didn't mention it while I was talking about my nachos, but I guess some of it dripped on my shirt and I didn't even notice it. And it's like one of those things where you're like, damn, how long was I walking around with this drip nacho on my shirt? Was it at the beginning of the nacho phase? Because it was a pretty big plate, or was it towards the end? I'm there like some ridiculous guy with some nacho drip on my
Yeah,
shirt.
because
So
you don't want like, oh, look at him, he's a slob. He has stains on his shirt, right? That the old thing.
uh-huh.
When you got stains, you're like, oh, you're instantly back in the day. I don't know about now. He's a slob. Look at him. He
Right.
don't clean himself, right? That's just a
Yeah.
bad stigma, something that you don't want to have. Us Gen Xers, he might or might not care, but we grew up where we were told about stuff like that today. Everybody's like, oh, just let you can be you and no judgment here, but.
Mm.
Back in the day, yeah, if you see that shit, you're a slob.
So maybe that's what it was. It was that they didn't want to judge me, and they're like, I guess Daniel likes cheese on his shirt, and that's
He's
what
like,
he digs.
oh,
He's into that,
he's like he's just into that. We don't know his situation. He might not
right?
have a washing machine or something,
Right,
or there's a situation going on. I don't want to, like you
right.
say, I don't know. Like you say, Danny, like we were talking about before the record. I don't know. The less I know, the better. Maybe
No
they have that
judgment zone,
mentality. Yeah, no
right?
judgment. It is what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, to the mustache, yeah, it's I, I don't know if anybody would have mentioned that I had a particle on my mustache after blowing my nose, but I'm glad I found it, and now I'm gonna have to up my game on my nose blowing after checkout routine and stuff like that. I'll have to get better on that in that aspect. But Andy, let's jump it over to you, man. Let's start off your week. Oh yes, I did see this in the news. PSN deletes movies from the purchase. I didn't read the details, but I saw something about yeah, people are losing something that they purchased in the past. So fill us in on the
Like
details.
like me and you talk about Noel. I wish Noel was here. He understands it. I know you're not crazy about physical media, but from what I've read, PlayStation Network, like everything, every platform where you can purchase digital movies, uh, you buy them, you're under the guise of, I mean, we've seen it countless of times. People buy digital movies or Kindle or e-books at the time too. You purchase it to download, and you're thinking like, oh, I bought it, I get to keep this, and I'm always going to have access to it. So I guess PlayStation UK, from what I've read, their deal with Studio Canal, it's a European company. With them, they have a big library and distributorship out there in Europe, and they every movies that you purchased on that network, they're gonna delete them. I think starting in September of this year, and I guess the Europeans, I don't think the Europeans have gone through this. In America, it's happened a couple times. I remember stuff with Amazon eBooks and some other streaming people, or when some companies went under, they lost all that. They had no access to it, and people here. That's why uh, people still physical media. It's still right now. It's gaining back in popularity. A lot of younger generations are buying more movies, Blu-rays, DVDs, and hell, even VHS tapes, VHS tapes, and even vinyl is real
Hmm.
popular. That's because uh, I don't want to say they're tired of digital, but they want something they purchase and they can hold. But one of the reasons is this. Uh, Issues, and a lot of people on social media are talking about it. They're voicing their displeasure, and then they're always like, you purchase, you give them money, but you're not really owning it. They're letting you watch it on that platform unlimited until their deals expire or whatever the case might be. Same thing with like Netflix and all those streamings, like they're on there. They strike a deal to show up, but it can be pulled at any time. I know there was a article about Netflix's early shows, um, that they had them, and then they have been deleted on Netflix, and there was no physical copies released. So people are like, where do these shows go? Who has them? Where are they popping up? And there's no thing, and that's like a big thing on when Netflix first started buying or producing their own shows, for exclusive Netflix, and people are like, they're not on here no more. So where are they? And they're having a hard time finding them. I'm pretty sure you can find them on pirated sites or streaming other ways. But yeah. So I'm assuming, I don't know about digital games, how that works. I know there's streaming stuff. I haven't read no real issues with them besides whatever's going on with PlayStation, Rockstar's GTA. We kind of talked about it, the digital only, and it's in the guise of to prevent leaks before the date and stuff. But your thoughts, Danny? I mean, I think I only purchased movies or any type of shows on Amazon Prime. when they were giving out credits to rent stuff and all that. I purchased a couple things, but to be honest with you, I've never really even seen them. I seen them like once, and they're there. They might not be there no more. I don't know.
Yeah, I typically don't buy movies too often digitally. I think the only one that I've bought is this Friday the 13th on Apple TV because they had it for like $5, the whole collection. So I was just like, oh, okay, I'll buy this, and I think it was like during Halloween or during the something like that. But yeah, typically I don't buy any digital movies. I'll buy digital games, and to your point, this is kind of uh, a great timing on this happening because to your earlier point, GTA, the new one six that's coming out in a few months, they're saying that the physical copy of the game will have a digital code inside. So although you're going to get a case with a cover, all the typical stuff, but except there won't be a disc inside and it's just going to be a download code, which is very odd. Now, I know we kind of spoke about it briefly, Andy, about it offline, not on this podcast. But yeah, the rumor is that they don't want people to leak the game prior to it arriving on the store shelves because when they start sending these to stores to the brick and mortars, there's always people leaking. There's always people selling hard copies, and hey, I'll sell it for $1,000 here, and and there's people that are willing to pay a lot of money for stuff like that. So I think they're trying to prevent it. I've never heard of this being the case other than Nintendo, but Nintendo's Switch 2 library, they were forthright and said that these are digital codes inside the box as well. So Nintendo's been doing that for this whole Switch 2, not for all the games, but for a big portion of them, where they're calling them digital key cards, where there's just a card inside the case and it gives you a download code.
I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, so anyways, on the PlayStation and Xbox side, this is one of the first times that this has happened. So a lot of people are upset. There is a rumor that come December or maybe January, they would start selling a physical copy disc inside of there. Once it's been released, the reviews are out there. Everybody's had a chance to kind of play the game. But I don't know. Rockstar hasn't said anything official. That's the rumor. But circling back to your point that you were bringing up about PSN, I did hear about this. I don't know if you remember, but wasn't it Discovery or something where like Mythbusters were being pulled off of the PlayStation video download? I forgot what the software that PlayStation used to have, or Sony, better yet, had for downloading videos. But yeah, they were pulling a bunch of like Discovery IPs, and for that, it was such an uproar that they ended up regressing and buying the licensing because to your point, it is licensing. It's these original content creators. They want to continue to get paid. And a lot of these contracts, especially like the old ones, weren't designed to have digital rights in perpetuity forever. I mean, case in point, Wonder Years. I think you've brought it up in a past podcast. There's a bunch of licensed music, and when they were licensing to use, whatever Jimi Hendrix song, they didn't buy it with the intent of just having it forever. It was only for that episode for
Yeah.
syndication, and then it's over.
And then once it gets popular, the to get the rights back, they're like, oh, it's for this show. You guys, it was a popular show. I want more money.
Right.
So, and then it becomes real expensive. They finally released a DVD set a while back, but it took a while. And one of the highlights was like includes a lot of original music. Now,
Right.
I haven't bought it. I don't know how much of it's still the original or how much they couldn't get the rights to. So yeah, that's to this day that's still a big issue.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think famously they have not released a Blu-ray edition because of that,
Yeah.
because it's tough to get the licensing to even print it and distribute it and get it out there. So I would suspect that's what's going on here. I think that's why Sony and PlayStation deleted these movies. Their licensing agreements ended. They did not want to pay whatever fee they needed to, or maybe they didn't even give them the option. It's possible that this UK company, they're like, no, we're not going to provide this anywhere. is going to become I forgot what they call that, ghostware or ghost software, ghost movies, and they're just gone.
Yeah, they're gone from
If
your library. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have a physical copy, there's no way you can stream it anywhere. There's nowhere you can get it anywhere unless you go through some kind of pirating to try to get a copy. So that would be my guess on what happened with this, but it is concerning for sure. I'm for video games, I try to be a physical purchaser, but on occasion, if there's a good sale, I buy it on digital. But yeah, it's concerning that one day it just won't be there.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked. Rockstar, who's such a big company, they have this IP, they would want to maximize everything, especially like I guess is the pre-order thing for gaming dead? Like they don't do that or the variant. I know like the WWE 2K series, they have all this exclusive crap and multiple covers and steelbooks and bundles and like is that all just gone now? Like I feel like or they just I know it's been pushed back a couple times, I think, right? The GTA, so I don't know what's going on with that. Or
Yeah,
they're not gonna have it ready when the game is done, press it onto a disc.
I don't know. Like I mentioned, there's Rockstar's not talking a lot, but there is going to be the standard edition and this ultimate edition, and then they are also pre-order content. So if you pre-order it before the
Mm.
release date, you get like these six things, costumes, cars, and whatnot. And then there is going to be two editions, the standard and the ultimate. So the ultimate comes with a bunch of unlockables, more clothes, more cars, more hairstyles, and uh, it's just a bunch of extras. But yeah, I think it's to keep the story from leaking. I mean, this is a huge game for them. I forget what they were theorizing it cost them. I think they were saying in the neighborhood of $3 million to produce this game. So they're probably trying to save their investment and make sure that the story doesn't break, that everybody gets a chance to play it before it releases out to the public.
So what is the pre-order price, do you know?
Well, you have to buy it in its entirety. I don't think there's like a layaway thing. I think is what you're asking.
No, I'm asking like what is the price for the game? Is it 80 or 100?
Oh, like the game itself? Yeah, it's $80, which is also
The digital
something.
one.
The digital or hard copy, it's $80. The standard edition, and the ultimate edition is $100. Which there's been a few games that have released with $80. Mario, the kart racer one that just came out, that was $80, but it's not too often. Most games come out at 70 or below. So this is another precedent that's being done. A lot of people are theorizing that this is going to break open the floodgates for $80 games and that that's going to be the new norm
I
moving forward.
as we're talking about this, my conspiracy big corporate thing is going off radar. I think what they're doing is you just mentioned the price tag for them to create this game. I think this is the test run to see. Let's release a digital version, which I feel like it probably cost of that is way cheaper. So you're gonna push the demand for maybe people who wouldn't buy digital to see like let's see how many of them get to buy this and they make more money off of that. And then let's see the demand. Let's wait a couple months and let's put the physical. And I bet you they're gonna have like a very not a lot of big run on that because everybody bought the digital
Mm,
and like they're gonna compare and do some numbers where they made the most money and like see we pushed them to get this people came we were worried that we our projections were this and it was actually this and that's probably what's gonna happen and then they're gonna see the sales because there's a demand for it. Everybody's talking about it, right?
hmm
And it's like they're really saying limited like they're not really releasing much. So I think this is where all that shit's going. I think they're doing like this big test run to see uh, because I mean there's still cost. I'm pretty sure the cost to make a disc and all that and everything
Right.
is it's gone up some. So and they're not gonna make as much money they would say as the digital version. So I think this is where I think this is their thought process. Like this, we get a better margin on the digital.
Oh no, 100% that they do get better margins. And to me, my conspiracy hat went to they don't want. people to sell this back to GameStop. They don't want
That's
the
another
used
thing.
market to
Yeah.
get flooded. When people beat the game, they don't want them to go drop it off. So my guess is people aren't going to want to wait until December and January. Let's say they officially release, they announce it that, yeah, in December, January, we're going to start pressing the discs. It's final, and there'll be a physical copy. There's going to be people that can't wait. I mean, Junior, my son, in fact, asked me the day of the trailer released. He's like, Daddy, are you going to buy this when it releases? And I'm like, I don't think so. It's not a physical copy. I think I'm going to wait. Anyways, I'm like, $80 is a lot. I think I'm going to wait until there's a price drop, maybe $60, 50. And I usually don't pay that much for games, but it's GTA, so I might buy it. But yeah, I'm a disc guy. I like to keep it, like to keep my options. Right now in my car, I got a bag of a couple PlayStation games that I've been meaning to go to GameStop and just return them and get, $10 for that, $5 for that, $20 for this one, and just get some money back, and it'll help me buy my next game with it. So I'm all about physical, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons why it's all digital and there's no physical copy. And also, I think it might even help for those fanatics. They'll buy it digital now. When they get a hard copy out, they're gonna have a double dip and buy it as well, so they can have a physical copy and the disc.
I don't know, maybe, man. That's another study. They might have some information on that,
Hmm.
where like we notice people who buy digital actually buy a physical copy. Maybe they'll buy it used or something like that. And maybe we like you said, we control that market on the used. Maybe they're willing to buy it more when it comes out, and they gotta have some type of fucking data or some
Oh
numbers
yeah,
on that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, it's all about data. And to me, this is like big company shit, like maximizing profits, and that's what I'm starting to see here. And my big thing with everything with the digital, going back to the article, is like if you download the game, let's say something happens between Sony and Rockstar. I don't know how that publishing shit works, or will
Mhm.
that ever happen between with the Xbox and PlayStation, where they're like, we got to pull all those games because we're not the whatever licensing, publishing. I don't know how that shit works. If they can do that on uh, on those platforms, unlike like Steam, I know they don't really make their own games or they publish or anything. They just like we get a license, we get to put them on our platform, and they could probably get pulled because it's just licensing. Like you could use it. So I don't know if that's the same for Xbox. Once you download these games, they have the same type of deals.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat similar. The only thing that's probably different is nowadays they anticipate that a little more. So their contracts probably spell out a longer term, if not infinity time.
For
I'm
the
not really
server
sure.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
So
oh,
I
we're
think it's a
pulling
little
the
different.
servers for
Right.
Halo, and people are like, "What the fuck?" Well, the game's like fucking 12 years old, dude. What do you think? But apparently,
Right.
there's still a lot of people playing them, you know. So it costs them money. I get it. But yeah, just change it up a little. I know the World Cup in America is going on. It's been great seeing videos. European people, people from other countries, excited about our food and all that. But they're super excited. But to me, there's been no real World Cup fever going on. Um, I haven't really watched one game. I mean, I watch it in passing, but I haven't focused on any games. And it's just been interesting to see. And I know people at work watch it, but nobody's like, oh, did you see this or did you see that? I'm like, nah, I'm not watching. I've never really been a big soccer fan. My wife kind of mentioned something like, "Oh, did you see Mexico beat somebody?" I'm like, "Okay, good. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I didn't even watch the U.S. I don't watch Mexico. I don't watch anything. So I might watch like the championship game, but that's about it. But I haven't really watched anything. I'm too busy watching baseball. Have you caught the World Cup fever this year, Dan?
I tried watching a game or two. Maybe I put like 10 minutes into it and just watched it for a little bit. But I'm like you, it doesn't really call me. It's funny seeing the commercials for the World Cup and how soccer is the most popular sport in the world. Um, I think it might be the most popular everywhere else except the US, which I think is the fact. But yeah, I I can't follow along. It's just too long. I was listening to a sports podcast a few days ago, and they were talking about it. They also don't like soccer, and they were saying the reason why Americans don't like soccer, or one of the reasons why, is that it's really based on athleticism and speed, and there's only a max speed that your body can do. There's the difference between one soccer player to the next is a fraction of a second or a second at the most. So it gets to the point where there's nothing really distinguishing one soccer player to the other than luck, physics, and just the scoring opportunities. And he's just like, and Americans don't like that. He's like, Americans like there to be waves of scoring where like a dominant player will score, 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 and then the other team, their dominant player has an opportunity to make a comeback. And so they were theorizing that, and it did kind of make a little sense. I'm like, all these soccer players, they could only run X amount miles per hour. And so it's like, that's why scoring is low. That's why there's not a lot of scoring opportunities
There's
because,
ties, and Americans
yeah,
hate that. I mean, we hate
right.
ties. And when there's a tie in football, even in overtime, American football,
I don't like that
uh,
either. Yeah,
they get worked up, right? So
right, right.
it just has bullshit and this and that, and I get it. Like, man, whatever. Like, people, I guess the rest of the world loves it. We get it. I think to a point, there's some truth into what he said about the tie games and the 0-0 scoring, and there's a big, huge stadium. It's not, I don't want to say it's not fast moving, but usually if it's 3-0 or 3-0, people get worked. Oh, it's like they murdered them. Like, damn, like that's embarrassing for the other team. And I'm just like, yeah, like we were watching. They had the game in the White Sox game on Friday for our friend's wife's birthday. The Sox were playing the Royals, and they're just fucking slaughtering them. It was 22-1 or whatever the score was. And my wife's like, I've never seen a score that high in baseball. Like, yeah, it doesn't happen. But baseball, you score 6, 7, 8 runs. That's a lot of runs. But when you score 20, that's something you rarely see. I mean, I think it's happened maybe twice this year already. I think the other game was a Rockies game. But yeah, I mean, I'm not watching it. I mean, some people I've spoken to have watched some of it, but they're not. I don't see this excitement like the last time the World Cup was here in the U.S. There was I feel like more excitement. I think it was in the 90s or maybe early 2000s. I remember a lot of people like got all worked up. This one, I don't see any of that. But we'll see. And then one more thing I wanted to talk to about everybody. I know you and Noel review a lot of stuff that you watch. I just want to put my I want this unrecorded. I want this to be documented. We finally finished watching Yellowstone, and I could just say the second half of the last season um, was okay. It basically became the Beth and Trip fucking show, or Rip. I'm sorry, Beth and Rip show. Um, and the finale was, I kind of had an idea. It was kind of predictable. Um, I'm not gonna spoil it. I mean, it's even though it's been about a year, almost a year. Um, so what happened to some of these characters at the end just sucked. I mean, I don't know the what they did with Casey. I didn't like. He's wanted to run away from everything his family built. Beth, if you remember early on, she was fucking crazy and a drunk, and now she's the smartest person in the room, and she solves everybody's problems, and she's like this badass woman who her husband's even more badass, and like just like God, man, and like they got rid of the one person that made sense. But even he jumped the shark when he became a governor. I'm just like, what the fuck's going on here, right? Like none of this shit makes sense. It was all about protecting the ranch, and it just turned into like this crazy thing. And then the ranch, it was all about the ranch, and just at the end, it's like nobody wanted the ranch. Like, what the fuck? the one person that did want it, if something happens to him. But other than that, like, yeah, it was. I was watching, I was processing it, and I was just like, this is not good. This is Sopranos kind of kept it good, except that the ending. This was just the build up to the last like 2 or 3 episodes. It was just like I would watch it and I would just think like, what the fuck's going on here? I don't know if you got to watch it then, but or your thoughts of the first half of the final season. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we were super Yellowstone fanatics. We were watching every episode as they were coming out, and yeah, we finished that the very last season, that first half, like you mentioned, and then all that Kevin Costner stuff started happening, leaking out, and it kind of gave us a sour taste that we never went back. So I've
Yeah,
never seen the second half of that final season. I've been curious to go back and just watch it because I see the commercials for the new spun up shows, the
yeah.
spin-offs.
There's two spin-offs. Yes.
Yeah, with Casey, like you mentioned, he's like a marshal, and then Beth and Rip, they got like this ranch thing going now. So it seems interesting. Like, okay, well, before I watch these new shows, I gotta finish watching that last half of Yellowstone. But I don't know. It doesn't really call to me since Kevin Costner and all the issues he was having, dealing with his own personal stuff, divorce, controversy on the show, and then now with the kind of consensus that the finale was not that good, it kind of gives me a Game of Thrones thing where it doesn't really call
Dude,
me, even though I want to watch it.
you got to watch it. The final couple minutes of what's going on, what that family built on that land, and what they started doing. It just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, nobody from the family really wanted it. I was just shocked. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, your dad died because of this. And you're
Hmm.
just like, my vision, this and that. I just like, nah, man. It was, I don't want to say it was poorly written. I knew they had to wrap it up, but it was just, yeah. I think it could have been done a little. I know, you know, uh, back hindsight shit, but it just, yeah, it could have been done better. I felt The Sopranos didn't even feel this. Like, you kind of got it with the ending. I feel I got it, and there's all these things and people reviewing it, but this was not. Even my wife's like, I don't know, like, what happened with this character and this. I'm like, yeah, right. Like, it wasn't just me, and like, and it was just not, to me. It could have been done better, and I know it led up to the spinoff, and and just people are just like, whatever. And then they started focusing on other characters that they were part of the show, but they started having their storylines. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, you were just there to do this, and now you're like, let's evolve this character, and it didn't make sense to me.
It
um
it it could have been that the whole Kevin Costner show issues, that this is the best story they could come up with, because I'm sure the finale included Kevin Costner and the whole lead up to the finale. And you never know. Maybe the happy ending was Kevin Costner was going to keep his ranch, and then he was going to be happy. His family behind him. Hey, we're going to go on to the next
uh,
generation. That could have been the ending, the like the long term storyboard that guy wrote up. But with the whole issue with Kevin Costner not being available anymore for the show and all those other problems they're dealing with, maybe this is the best they could spit up.
the whole series knew from early on, like, they're not going to keep the ranch. Everybody knew the issue. So to me, it was like, it's going to lead up to them like walking away or starting something new, but even with Kevin Costner. But then when he started fighting the big corporations, and then he's like, I gotta become governor or whatever, and like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, you're so in the weeds in the background. Now you're like face full of like, we're gonna keep Montana the same. But yeah, let us know what you think at ffnquestions@gmail.com. But I feel it just I just knew they weren't gonna keep that ranch from the whole series, so it was gonna lead up to what are they gonna do? How are they gonna keep half of it or some type of deal? But that never happened, and it's just like the whole family just walked away, and I'm just like, damn, like this sucks. But yeah, let us know, man. Yeah, so this gonna lead us into our article of the week. So I've never rented an apartment. The article's about renters. I lived with my parents, and then I bought my own houses, and then here I am. So I've never rented an apartment. This is about here in Chicago. Actually, this headline was actually made me click on it. He goes, the article says, "I felt them on my face." Roger Parks' tenant says, "Rats chewed on him while he slept." So this is in Chicago. The basic of it: a Rogers Park tenant says he woke up to a rat chewing on his face inside his apartment. The tenant claims the rats have infested the building for months and management has failed to address the problem. The ownership disputes the allegations while the tenant union, that's another thing I learned today, or when I read this article, there's tenant unions now, says dozens of residents continue to deal with poor living conditions. Um, he said the tenant said that the incident happened about 3 weeks ago in his garden level apartment on Damon Avenue. He said he had fallen asleep after a long day at work and he felt something on his face around 3 in the morning. The old wives' tale, nothing ever good happens at 3 in the morning. I felt them on the face and threw them off. He's The tenant suffered facial injuries and later sought medical treatment, including rabies shot. He said his eye remains irritated and continues to recover. What's going on? He alleges rats have been a persistent problem in his apartment for months. He claims he's repeatedly reported the issue, but neither the management nor the property's owner have fully resolved. Um, Hernandez is one of the more than 60 tenants that belong to Fuerzas Activias de la Damon, a tenant union affiliated with All Chicago Tenant Alliance. Union members have been engaged in ongoing dispute with building ownership over rent increases, eviction proceedings, and building conditions. Um, the tenant union alleges rats and cockroaches continue to plague multiple units and that maintenance concerns have gone on unaddressed. So the article goes um, that uh, they do say the maintenance people said that ownership has been working to address the pest issues. The contractor said residents have struggled to maintain cleanliness in their units and suggested complaints have testified following the rent increases. So there's a lot going on, but so when you live in an apartment, or you rent, I should say, right? Um, for I want to be open here and honest here. I am a landlord. I do rent out my house before I purchased this one, so I've dealt with some of this, not past but other issues as a landlord. But when stuff is this situation is this bad, and there's a union, I didn't even know about unions, tenant unions till right now. Why don't you just pack up and leave? Like, this is bad. If rats are chewing your face while you're asleep, this is a pretty bad situation. Unless I don't know if the article by Fox News has confirmed any of this, but they do post a picture. His face is it's beaten up. Um, my thing is like when shit's this bad, just get up and leave. And people who have empathy are like, well, maybe they can't. So you rather just sit there and have rats chew your face off while you're sleeping? That's a solution. Like, what are you doing? Like, improve the situation or just get up and leave. Um, I don't know. That's how I was raised. My dad always told me no one's gonna be there to help you, so you got to figure shit out on your own because that's how the world is. So I don't know. I know you read the article, Danny. When shit is bad, this isn't like, oh, this is busted or that, or it's just like these are fucking rats chewing a man's face. So what the fuck is going on? Your thoughts on this and your viewpoint is I think you used to rent. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to live in an apartment. Uh, I was very young at the time, so I don't remember a lot of details. And I think you lived in an apartment at a very young age,
I
or I
mean,
don't
with
know.
my family, yes,
Yeah, with
but
your
me
family,
personally, yeah.
right? So you know what the apartment living is, and that's what's difficult is the cleanliness comment. I watched the video that was attached on the article, and it kind of toured his apartment, and it looked fairly clean to me, clean enough for an apartment. I didn't think it looked overly dirty, but as I was going to mention, you're dependent on a lot of your neighbors because the next door neighbor could be a slob, leaving food out, enticing rodents to come, cockroaches,
Yes.
pests, yeah, bed bugs, and all the rest. And unfortunately, it just spreads. It spreads through all the other apartment buildings, and you can't avoid it. You could be the cleanest person in that facility, in that building, and it doesn't matter because you're going to get whatever your other neighbors are producing. Um, but it looks like they just bought this company that owns these apartments, just bought it last year from somebody. They invested $1 million into it. Now, $1 million amongst a dozen buildings or apartments, that's not a lot. So I don't think it's going to radically change things, but it is investment. It is like they're trying to upkeep, do the critical things, making sure gas, electricity, plumbing is up to date. But maybe all the rest is secondary. So I find it kind of difficult. Um, I just heard this weekend in New York, there was a bunch of people rallying and about freezing the uh, the rent, the
It's
rent
too damn
costs,
high.
something to that, yeah, where the new mayor in New York, he's proposing freezing rents for X amount of time, and the landlords and owners of apartments like this, they're like, that's not fair. We need to keep up with inflation. We need to keep up with living costs
Maintenance costs,
and
yeah.
maintenance and everything. So it's like, you know, like you mentioned, you own a building. How would you like it that your rent is frozen for 5 years and you can't raise the rent, but you know everything else keeps raising around you, and the maintenance and the upkeep of keeping the building up to date and correct and working, that keeps going up. It's just like that wouldn't be fair for the owners. So this is a really tough situation. To your one of your comments that you mentioned about just get up and leave, I think a lot of these apartments, they're like grandfathered in. So the price
Yeah.
that you pay, let's say it's $1,000 a month, you're grandfathered into that. So if you do go to another one, you're going to get current renting value for this new apartment that you go to, and that might be 1,600. So a lot of these people are stuck with they could barely pay as it is. Which by the way, this guy, he was like 6 months behind on his rent. The article
Yeah.
said. So it's apparent that he's struggling to try to keep
He's
up.
getting evicted.
Right. So it's difficult for him to keep up. So yeah, there's a bunch of different variables in this thing that make it very complicated. I lived in it wasn't an apartment, but when my dad bought his first house, it was a two-floor house. He rented the downstairs to my aunt, and then we lived on the upstairs. And I remember there was a time that there was some rodent issues. And yeah, these bad boys, they would jump on the bed with you, man. They would jump on the bed and you would feel them crawling on you. I never had or don't recall them ever nibbling my face. Uh, but yeah, I believe him. I believe him because he calls them rats. I've never seen a rat in a house. I've seen mice, but I've never seen a rat. To me, a rat's like a mini cat. That's what I
Yeah, they're
envision when you
big.
use the word
Yeah.
rat. That's what I envision.
That's what the article says. Yeah. So
Right.
it ain't me, like the article states it's a rat. And like I said, to me, uh, yeah, I mean, there's typical stuff, cockroaches. I mean, lived in apartments my whole life. We didn't own houses till I was like an adult, obviously, like, but it wasn't right away. But yeah, dude, cleanliness and like, let's be honest here, not every tenant is this excellent, great tenant, right? People just they beat up properties, and your job as a landlord, yes, you gotta clean up and do all this shit and keep costs low, but they're always like, let's freeze the rent, but nobody wants to freeze the government is not gonna freeze your property taxes if you rent if you are doing that. I'm like the Bears, give me tax certainty. I only want to pay this amount on my property if you're gonna freeze rent, but the government's like, I need that money. So, but they're like, oh, you're rich, you own homes. So it's a two-way street. Let's all be equal and and equity and all this bullshit that they like words they like to use, but it costs money. Uh, there's people making, I don't cost them money. You're making money for them. But yeah, but when something doesn't work, who is the first person they call? They're not going to be self-sufficient and try to repair shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, all I know, if I lived in an apartment and things are biting my face while I sleep, or if my kids like, we're getting the fuck out of here. I'll figure something out, or I'll start fucking shooting them or putting traps, glue, get a fucking cat, something to help me here because that's pretty messed up when I was reading it. And my wife said, "Oh, maybe they can't afford it." I'm like, "No, they probably got really cheap rent, and they don't want to lose it because you go somewhere else." Yeah, and I get it. Rent's high. I won't disagree with that. I know people who pay a shit ton of rent, and it is what it is. But it's if you think rent's high, wait till you get a mortgage or like what people are bitching about now. They can't afford homes. Um, the younger kids and all these financial people I listen to, they all complain that they can't afford homes because they got student debt and all this other crap and credit cards, and they like to go on vacations with even though they're broke. But yeah, it's a financial situation, and it's tough, man. I get it. It's tough for everyone, but dude, when things are fucking biting your face, get the fuck out. That's my run away and sue them
Yeah,
or something. I don't know.
yeah, for sure. It's unfortunate. I think it's a product of a bunch of different things built together. It's not one thing. It's not like this guy did one thing and this is what caused it. It's a buildup of a bunch of
I
different
think
things.
yes, like you don't want to get bit, but I think he would have probably had more not credible. I don't want to say credibility. I think people would have been more like, "Damn, this is messed up," and then you read like, "Oh, he's behind the rent," so now you're just like, that's why I think the article they mentioned about it isn't about people being in eviction process or this and that. I personally think that's probably part of it. If this guy paid his rent on time, or he was I'm not saying he's a bad tenant, but maybe that, I mean, being a part of good tenant is paying on time. I think they would have handled it a little better, but he's the only one on record, and this union says there's multiple people, 60 people, and I'm just like, no one else is talking. He just mentioned that, and this guy's like, yeah, man, he's like, come and check out my shit, and it's one guy, so you never know. I mean, today you never know what people are willing to make up to get help. I was just waiting for the GoFundMe link page or something for him to so he can move, but I didn't see that. So I don't know. I just my
Yeah,
thoughts on it. Yeah, I mean it sucks. My instinct is like I'm getting the fuck out of here, or I'm getting monster sized traps or something. I wouldn't let that shit happen to me. Once I'm like I'm fucking done.
yeah, no, for sure. I'm empathetic to the guy's situation. It's real difficult. It's difficult when funds are limited, when it's a struggle between paying rent or eating, or taking care of medical bills, taking care of your kids. So there's a lot of tough choices to be made in this economy for a lot of people out there. So I am empathetic to all that.
I was
But
waiting for you to say you saw that guy at Wakanda Fest. That was your friend that you saw up there.
no, no, I didn't recognize this guy. I should have Googled where this is. I'm not even sure where Roger
Rogers
Parks.
Park.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
even
off
sure
of
where that's at.
Damon.
Oh, okay.
It said in the article, so uh it's okay, I guess, the area. I'm not gonna badmouth it, but yeah, I mean, it's everybody has their own living situation. I know we're more understanding of people's living situations, but to me, if shit's biting your face, dude, I was that's why I was like, get the fuck out. Like, And then like, oh yeah, I had to get rabies shots, and I got an eye that's messed up. Like, dude, some of that you could have fucking died if those rats, rats spread the plague and all this shit. They transfer diseases to you. It's a serious fucking thing. Um, so he could uh, do something instead of he's just like, oh yeah, like this whole process. Just leave, dude. You're putting your health at risk for whatever rent you're paying a month.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult. At least I don't know what his situation is. Maybe rent everywhere else is twice as much, and if he's not even paying his rent now to begin with, it might be out of, it's like impossible to even pay it anywhere else. Um, it could be like, well, this is better than living on the street. So he's like, I'll deal with the rats and just try to live here as long as I can for free. So yeah, who knows what the ultimate situation is for the guy. But hopefully he gets back on his feet soon. But everybody out there, this is all the time we have. We'd like to thank you all for listening. Remember to follow Freeform Network on Facebook and X, Freeform Network. Send in those questions, ffnquestions at gmail.com. Andy loves going on social media, seeing your posts, loves seeing those emails. He is a social media magnet. He loves all
I'm
that
an
stuff.
influencer.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I was looking for a word, but yeah, influencer maybe. I could see that.
Uh-huh.
Visit our webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There you're going to see all our history of all our previous podcasts that we dropped. Like and subscribe anywhere you're at. We really appreciate it. It does help out the numbers. Sometimes people get in the habit of just listening to the episodes, not dropping a like. We do appreciate it because it does help the algorithm. But for Freeform Radio, we got Andy.
It's all good, Andy. Want to thank you guys for listening. And all you renters out there, hit us up at ffnquestions@gmail.com. What would you do in a situation like this with the rent? Now I'm really interested to hear or read what people would do in this situation. Because to me, rats biting your face is pretty extreme. So, like I said, I know there are a lot of you guys rent. I know a lot of people that are renters. Hit us up, and we'll read it on our next show. And but thank you guys for listening.
Yes, yes. And I'm Daniel. Just remember, Andy, there's rats on the street, and if you're living in the street, they'll bite your ass there too.
You gotta do
So,
what you gotta do to survive, man.
but yes, we'd like to thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
That was cool, Dad.